The group chat was called 60-Day Challenge. The $5,000 to make me fall in love, then break my heart before day 60. I was never supposed to see it, but I did. And in less than 30 seconds, every "I miss you," every "good morning" text, every time he held my hand, turned into something that made me feel sick. Because Ryan didn't love me, he made a bet, and my heart was the prize. But here's what he never understood. When you turn someone's heart into a game, you better be ready when karma decides to play. By the end of this story, Ryan didn't just lose the bet, he lost his job, his friends, his reputation, and the one person who actually cared about him. Me. I was 24 when I moved to that city. New job, new apartment, new streets, new everything. I had packed my whole life into 4 boxes in a suitcase and told myself this was a fresh start. And honestly, it was exciting for about a week. Then the silence set in. The quiet kind of lonely, where you come home after a long day, take your shoes off at the door, look around your apartment, and realize no one is waiting to ask how your day went. No one to laugh with over dinner. No one to text when something funny happened. Just you, the hum of the fridge, and whatever show you put on to fill the silence. That was my life before Ryan walked into the coffee shop where I worked on weekends. He came in on a busy Saturday morning. The first time, he smiled at me from across the counter. Nothing big, just a smile. The second time, he asked my name. The third time, he remembered it. And I know that sounds like such a small thing, but when you feel invisible for long enough, even being remembered feels like love. By the 4th visit, he stayed until my shift ended. We sat at the corner table for almost 2 hours. He asked about my family back home. He asked about my job. He asked what I was afraid of. He asked what made me happy. And he listened. Not the kind of listening where someone waits for their turn to talk. He actually listened, like maybe things were going to be okay. I called my mom that Sunday. She could hear it in my voice before I even said his name. She got quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Beta, don't give your whole heart too fast." I laughed and told her I was fine. I told her he was different. I wasn't fine, and he wasn't different. I just couldn't see that yet. Ryan moved fast, but never in a way that scared me. That was the thing about him. He knew exactly how to move. Good morning texts that came before I even woke up. Random calls just to hear my voice. Small, thoughtful gifts that felt personal, never showy. He made me feel chosen. And when you have spent months feeling invisible, being chosen feels like everything. He studied me the way you study for something important. He learned what made me smile and used it. He learned what made me nervous and soothed it. He learned when I needed space and gave it. He learned when I needed comfort and showed up. He was so precise, so careful. Looking back now, the precision itself should have been the first warning sign. Real love is messy and imperfect. What Ryan gave me was too clean, too well-timed, too studied. But I didn't see that then. I just thought I had finally found someone who paid attention. Sometimes he would laugh and say, "You're too nice, you know that." I thought it was sweet. I thought he meant I had a gentle heart. But what he was really doing was laughing at the lock while he held the key. 6 weeks in, small cracks started to show. Nothing dramatic. Nothing you could point at directly. Just little things that sat wrong. He started checking his phone mid-conversation and going quiet after reading certain messages. He cancelled plans last minute with short explanations that didn't quite make sense. Sometimes he'd smirk at a message, then flip his phone face down on the table before I could see the screen. When I asked who it was, he always said, "Just Marcus being stupid, ignore it." Marcus was his best friend. Loud, cocky, the kind of person who made mean jokes then acted surprised when someone didn't laugh. I never liked him, but I trusted Ryan, and that was my first mistake. One Saturday night, Ryan took me to a party at Marcus's apartment. It was crowded, too loud, the kind of party where everyone looks like they're having fun, but nobody is really talking to anyone. I was standing near the kitchen doorway, holding a drink I didn't even want, when I heard Marcus laughing from across the room. He didn't know I was there. He was talking to someone, and he said, "Bro, Ryan's still at it. Day 40. He's actually gonna pull this off." Day 40. Those words landed somewhere in my chest and didn't move. I turned slightly. Marcus saw me. His smile dropped for just half a second. Then he forced it back on like nothing happened. Ryan appeared a minute later, put his arm around me, kissed my temple, asked if I was having a good time. I said yes, but something in me had shifted. That night I barely slept. Day 40. Day 40 of what? 2 days later, Ryan came over to my apartment. He brought food. He was warm, attentive. He kissed my forehead when he walked in, called me beautiful. Then his phone rang, and he stepped outside to take the call. He left his laptop open on my kitchen counter. I wasn't looking for anything. I need you to understand that. I wasn't snooping. I was just walking past, but the screen was facing up. And right there at the top of the page was the name of a group chat. When I detankeri de walk, my stomach dropped before I even moved. My hands were shaking before I scrolled a single line. Marcus had written, "She's perfect, too sweet, too trusting. Head over heels by day 30. Easy." Ryan replied, "Lama. Okay, what's the bet?" Marcus wrote back, $5,000, make her fall. End it before day 60. Screenshot when she cries. Wrote. Then Ryan typed, "Fine, watch me. Fine, watch me." I stood in my kitchen and felt something go completely still inside me, like a door closing, very quietly. Every memory I had of him ran through my head in seconds. The coffee shop, the corner table, his voice asking what I was afraid of, his hand in mine in the car, the way he made me feel for the first time in months, like I was worth paying attention to. None of it was real. It was research. It was a game, and I was the girl they planned to screenshot crying. Ryan came back inside a minute later. He smiled at me, that same soft smile I used to love, and I smiled back, because right then, standing in my own kitchen, with my heart breaking quietly inside my chest, I made a decision, wanted a reaction. He was going to get one, just not the one he planned for. I called my friend Priya that night. Priya is the kind of friend who doesn't panic when life gets ugly. She listened to everything without interrupting. Then she said, "Okay, we don't warn him. We don't confront him yet. We wait." So I did. For 2 more weeks, I kept seeing Ryan, kept smiling, kept answering his texts, kept being the girl he thought he had completely fooled. And every time he smiled at me, I thought about those 4 words, "Fine, watch me." Meanwhile, Priya started asking around, and that's when she found something that made my blood run cold all over again. Marcus had done this before, 2 years earlier. Different girl, different bet, same cruelty. Her name was Sana, and unlike me, Sana had never gotten proof. People told her she was dramatic. People told her to move on. People told her Marcus was just joking around. But Sana had never forgotten. When Priya called her and explained everything, Sana went completely silent. Then she said, "Tell me where." No questions, no hesitation, just that. Ryan's birthday party was on day 58. Marcus was hosting it at his apartment. Their whole circle would be there. Friends, co-workers, old university friends, everyone Ryan wanted to impress. The week before the party, Sana ran into Marcus at a cafe near his gym. Marcus was exactly the kind of man who thought being loud meant being untouchable. He bragged, he laughed, he talked too much, and Sana recorded every word. The night of the party, I wore red, not to make a scene, but because I needed to remind myself I was not walking in there as a victim. I walked in there awake. Ryan hugged me at the door and whispered, "You look amazing." I smiled, and for the first time, his words landed on me like nothing at all. At 9:47 p.m., Priya connected her phone to the speaker. The music stopped. Someone in the room groaned. Someone else yelled, "Who killed the vibe?" And then Marcus's voice filled the room, clear, loud, unmistakable. "She has no clue. He's picking up the $5,000 this weekend. She actually thinks he loves her." The room went dead silent. Everyone turned toward Ryan. His face went white. I looked at him one last time and said very quietly, "I hope $5,000 was worth it." Then I put my drink down, turned around, and walked out. No speech, no scene, because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is leave the room before they get to watch you break. The room did the rest. His co-workers walked out within minutes. 3 of his oldest friends confronted him before midnight. Someone posted about it that night. By Monday, his manager had seen it. Turns out running a personal challenge on company equipment during work hours isn't something most employers overlook. 2 weeks later, Ryan was let go. No big announcement, just gone. Marcus lost his entire circle. The same people who used to fill his apartment every weekend stopped returning his messages. And Sana finally got what she had been waiting 2 years to receive. Not revenge, not an apology. Proof. Proof that she wasn't crazy. Proof that what happened to her was real. Sometimes that's all a person needs to finally breathe again. It still hurt. Even knowing it was all fake, the memory still felt real. I still remembered the coffee shop. I still remembered the corner table. I still remembered the first time I felt seen in that city. But eventually, I understood this. Being kind was not my mistake. Being lonely was not my mistake. Wanting to be loved was not my mistake. His cruelty was his choice. His lies were his choice. His $5,000 bet was his choice. And karma. Karma was just the bill arriving. Ryan chose $5,000, and in the end, it cost him everything that money cannot replace. If you've ever been played by someone who knew exactly what they were doing, your heart wasn't stupid. Your kindness wasn't weakness. You were real. They were pretending. Drop your story in the comments. Has karma ever come back for someone who hurt you? I read every single one personally. And if this story said something you needed to hear today, subscribe to Karma Tales Anon. Every week there's a new story, and every week karma shows up right on time. See you in the next one.